Hey, Pastor Neil again. Today I'm thinking about a situation that happened over the weekend with me. I went to a gospel concert, kind of a choir reunion type thing, and at the end of it, talking with some of the leaders and ministers and that sort of thing, um, one of the associate ministers came up as I was staying next to the communion table, and grabbed my hand and shoved it off the communion table, and then shook his finger at me and kind of nodded his head like as if to say, "Don't touch that. That's sacred. Don't touch that communion table." And I felt like he was scolding me for touching the communion table. And as a theologian, I think I know that what it means and the significance of the items that we use in worship. I get it, but we don't have the ark with us of the covenant, and we don't have those types of items that we um, worship the actual presence, physical presence of God within those items or on those items. And so I just kind of looked at him at first. Well, my first instinct was, well, you know. And my second instinct was my sanctified self took over, and I began to think, well, what are the spiritual implications of this? And what are the implications for the church of this type of behavior and this type of attitude toward people? Because I felt affronted. I felt offended. I felt like I'm a guest pastor at a church that's having a program, and one of the associate ministers is trying to scold me for touching the communion table. I thought that's ridiculous. But I thought about it, and I began to think, what are the implications? What are the real implications beyond my little personal feelings? What are the real implications of that type of attitude? I began to think about that, and I realize now that we run a lot of folks off from church. If we can't keep saved folks in the church, if we can turn off saved folks from the church, if you run a pastor out your church and make him or her feel unwelcome, I can only imagine what unsaved folk and folk who are not part of your little congregation feel like when they're dealing with you. I also began to think about how critical it is, how important it is that leaders and pastors of churches train and teach our leaders and our ministers how to treat people. I think we don't spend enough time on hospitality, and we realize that there are people who are pretty much stuck in their little frame of life. They're not going beyond that little scope, and many people in the church don't really have an opportunity to demonstrate authority anywhere in their lives until they get to church, and then they tend to go over the top with that. I think that perhaps we need to be more acutely aware of that and to train people out of that so that we understand the importance of hospitality within our congregations. So just a thought today. I moved beyond my initial feelings about it and really started to think how important it is for us as believers, and whether you're a believer or not, if you are a part of anything that you want people to be a part of, that you want to be welcoming. It could be your home and how hospitable your children are. We're responsible for making sure that there's a spirit of hospitality. And that means sometimes we have to check folks, and we have to make sure that we don't put the church in the hands of people who have their own agendas, but rather those who are willing to subject themselves and submit themselves and humble themselves to demonstrate love and grace toward others, strangers and friends alike. So that's my little thing today. Just wanted to share that. Getting some thoughts on that still, but I think that the general point is, be hospitable. If you're a member of a congregation, be hospitable. Prepare your attitude before you get to church. When you leave the house, put your smile on your face, get your attitude right, get your stuff in check, and treat people nicely. Mom always said, be nice. And it's not some theological thing, it's not some spiritual thing you have to develop and grow into. Just be nice to folk. And stop running folks out to church, please. That's all. Peace.